Okay, so here's where we are on Jeff's computer. This is part two. I've already stripped out some of the totally unused wiring, including these plugs. Just cut these things off. Uh, they've been identified what pins they go to. You know, some of them are power only pins. Some of them are start switch. Some of them are ignition on. I think some of them go to the trigger for the ignition. Blah 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 blah. So that'll be figured out and attached to one. I typically like to use that 6-pin plug that supplies all the juice it needs and stuff. That'll go here. Plus, you know, like the ignition one, that'll have to be extended out, go to a trigger and such. Uh, I've isolated the 108. This is the trigger for the fuel pump. Um, I don't know what these are. I'm gonna take a guess. They used to go to that switch to that harness over there, that one of those white harnesses. So I'll have to figure out what they go. Just trace them back. What you do is you just kind of go back to start pulling them out and see where they go to, or better yet, go over here and find out what you don't need. Like I know the EGR will come off. I can't remember what the other ones are, but there's a couple things that the system won't use. So I'll start shipping them back too. But as you can see, what you did, the approach here is just take all the cover off. Just get it out of there because it's going to be confusing later on anyway. Some unused plug. I think these are power ons. I'm not sure. 21. That's the knock sensor. I know that one by heart. You've got these are your power on relays, your main relay. I can't remember what that one's for. It says on it. No, I don't know what that one's for. Trace it back. These look like some that were depinned. Yeah, those were depinned, so those are clearly ones that I deemed not needed. So they'll go back to something over here that's not used. Like for instance, well, here's a classic. I don't know what this thing goes to. It says water heater valve, so no doubt that'll come out and go somewhere where it's not needed. So those kind of things will have to come out. And then once you get it all done, and I plug it in here temporarily just to kind of keep these from unraveling. So that's just to kind of keep this oriented somewhat normally. I can't remember what this one was. I coiled it up. It's probably something that's not used, but I'll check and see. Again, something just going randomly anywhere, I don't know. But you don't need to worry about that too much because the bottom line is this. You're going to have only the sensors you need. They're going to be hooked up. Anything else that's in there just comes out. It's as simple as that. You don't need to panic about it. And then also then you'll go through each and every one of these pins and check it to the FSM and make sure it's going to what you expect it to go to. The one little thing I did notice difference about this is the one that's got this this is on a throttle position sensor. And this actually has a double lead, so there's a potentiometer and a switch in there. Now, the FSM calls for that. It says, in the most bizarre way possible, except non-California. It's like a double negative. What do they mean by except non? So that means California only? I think that's what they mean. That's a dumb way to say it. Anyway, except non-California uses this potentiometer. I'm going to leave that in the circuit. It's all plumbed for it. It goes to pin 33, I believe. So if it's useful for Jeff's setup, it's useful for Jeff's setup for his computer. If it's not, it's not. You can just not use it. But yeah, that's it. So like I said, I'll continue stripping this off all the way to the ends. We'll get rid of the excess wires that are for sensors that are not being used, and you tape it all back up. Like I said, the only thing that's really tricky about all this, besides just not letting it overwhelm you, seeing wires everywhere, is the pump setup. Like I said, this is a negative. That's a pump. No, I'm sorry, not that one. This one, is this the 108? There it is. All right. It's the pump is controlled by a switched ground. At least configured like this. It's a little more complicated than that, but I won't get into it. But the best way to run these is with a switched ground. So you just feed the relay, the pump relay, with an ignition on positive. I think I use ignition on positive for the pump relay. Yeah, I think I do. And then you ground it. That'll run the pump. That'll control the pump. And you have to install an outside pump relay because the way the system's designed, it's got a module that sends juice to the pump through the system at a reduced value. I think that's might be this one, and it's kind of goofy. It's not necessary really, and you have to have the extra module just to make it work. One more thing to go wrong. So we just replaced that module with a relay that's switched on or off. So you either get full pump or no pump. It works fine. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to come back to this later. And what I'll end up doing, like I said, I'll continue stripping it all out. And then when you start getting things neatened up and you know you only have the remaining sensors that you want, at that point you can start just taping the bundles together so it doesn't get out of control. And the only other part of the process is, are the wire lengths right? So that'll be interesting. One thing I did notice about this wire harness that was different from the other one I did was it looks like they didn't cheat on the pluses. So in other words, every injector seems to have its own positive. That's a good thing. If you remember on the one I did before, they took all the positives and they ganged them into one. I see a whole bunch of positives going down here, so that's a good thing. And I think the same with the triggers. The green wires are different. This is definitely a better situation because on the one I did prior, the reds all came together. All the positives got ganged together in like a group of 2 or something like that, which made it harder to hook up the resistor pack to drop the voltages if you wanted to run a low impedance injector. And also the green, the grounds were basically split into 2 grounds. You had bank 1, bank 2 grounds, and they went to, took bank 1, split to the 3 injectors, and bank 2 split to the 3 injectors and called it a day. This one, it looks like it has the individual wires going all the way back to the ECU for each injector, which I prefer. I think it's a better way to do it. So that's a good thing. Anyway, we'll come back to this in a couple days when I get some more time to work on it. But right now, we're just kind of trying to keep things organized. Thanks for watching. Bye.